All right, we're back.
Welcome back.
This is Radio Nowhere on WJBD. And Funky, tell us what songs we heard and why we heard those songs.
Well, starting off the show tonight, we heard Big Star doing September Girls, which, as it kicked over to midnight, it is now September 1st, so
clever.
I felt like that was apropos.
And tell us your opinion of that song.
That song, I think that song is one of the criminally underappreciated and unknown songs of the rock and roll era. Like that is a top 10 or a top 10 hit that should have been. That should have been a Brown-Eyed Girl, or one of those songs that everyone knows that has survived over the decades. But sadly,
I'm sorry.
Don't think it charted.
And the band is
Big Star.
Okay. And then the next song?
Next we heard The Replacements doing Alex Chilton. Alex Chilton being the lead singer of Big Star.
Okay, so it's a song about the lead singer of the band we heard first. And
also important to note, The Replacements got back together and played their first show in 22 years last Sunday. So I also felt like that was very appropriate.
So we have our Big Star and our Replacements morning or evening or kickoff.
Yes.
As it were.
It's Sunday morning.
I know. So, good morning. This is Matt Donahoe.
And Steve Stein.
Matt Liebarger.
Chad Spray.
And we are Radio Nowhere, playing music you don't get to normally hear on the radio. Some great stuff that just doesn't get a lot of airplay. And bringing you, hopefully, some entertaining conversation as well. And who knows what else as we get through this hour. And so Funky sent me this article on Facebook that I'm about to drop on Steve and Chad, and and the reason I'm dropping it on them is because I want their honest opinion. And I don't know what Steve's going to say. I know Chad's going to be upset by it. Did you read this yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Salon.com. First of all, do you know what a millennial is?
No.
Do you want to explain the concept of the millennial? It's
what is it? 2 generations past Generation X? Is that what it is, or one?
I think it's the kids these days type of
right.
There's our old fogey term for it. So there's the millennials, and the headline to this article is "Millennials Hate Bruce Springsteen."
I hate most millennials, so.
Wow.
And, wait. The next thing says an entire generation has dismissed the Boss's music as lame dad rock. Chad's getting
mad.
I'm not a huge Springsteen fan, so I mean I really kind of almost agree with him.
Why do you agree?
I mean, he's got a few songs I enjoy, but for the most part,
I know it's not Greatest American Hero, but...
Well, no, not much is.
Well, and I can kind of understand where that comes from. I remember growing up, and as huge as Born in the USA was, I remember that being all over the radio, and kind of not actively liking it, and just being okay with it, and I kind of passed him off just on the basis of that for a long time, and now I kind of have an appreciation for him outside of an obsession with one album and then just appreciating various things besides that album.
Now, I've seen him in concert 3 times. Chad?
Yeah, 3.
And Matt, you've seen him.
Once.
Funky, you've seen him. Steve, have you seen him in concert?
Negative.
Okay. And, for those of us who've seen him, his live shows are certainly much, much different.
It's like a revival, basically.
It is. I mean, it's like a revival, a literal old-school tent revival. Here's what this article goes on to say. It says, the thing about Bruce's fan base, it may be huge and rabidly loyal, but it is old. Like Peter, Paul, and Mary fan old. And then also in here, it makes the comparison to people our age, because we've all either hit 40 or we're pushing 40, all of us in this room. It makes a comparison. When we were growing up, it would be like Glenn Miller.
The same amount of time had gone by.
Yeah.
Since Glenn Miller's era.
And they talk about the reason kids don't like him. He's not as grizzled as Dylan. This is their words. Grizzled as Dylan, jaded as Neil Young. He doesn't have the swagger of Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, the sexiness of Kurt Cobain, and a few other things. It says... I
know they talked a lot about his earnestness, like his hardworking aspect of his career and his earnestness.
And and they just say that there's no place for Bruce Springsteen in millennials music. Like kids and this is true. I work at Salem High School, and I see kids wearing Jimi Hendrix T-shirts. I see kids wearing Nirvana T-shirts. Sublime. I see bands kind of all over the map, and I don't think any of them, I'm sure they know who he is. In fact, in here they talk about he's the guy that was on the Super Bowl a few years ago. And Steve, you're okay with letting him slide into obscurity?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Chad? You're on the radio, Chad.
No, just losing the composure. I can't. How could you not like Bruce Springsteen?
And okay, now Funky, you were talking about the fact that you kind of written him off, but then why did you recently get into him?
Well, and I've dug into more of his stuff, and I don't own Born in the USA still to this day.
Which oddly in concert he does an acoustic version that's not very good. Kind of ironic that his probably biggest song is in concert. He kind of butchers it.
Really? Are you trying to start an argument with me?
Now wait a minute. Okay.
Because I believe you agreed with me at one point that you would rather see him do the rocked out version than the acoustic.
No, this requires a little bit of explanation.
Yeah, let's tell the story of Born in the USA.
I mentioned being, I'm borderline obsessed with one Bruce Springsteen album, and that's Nebraska, which was recorded originally intended as demos that the whole band was going to do. And they liked what they had, and they put that out as the album. And Born in the USA originally came from that recording session. And since then, that version has come out on a box set.
Yes, and Nebraska is the one, like the two well-known songs from Nebraska are
Atlantic City's the
Atlantic
big one.
City and State Trooper.
Yeah, that's probably
would be,
but it's just very minimal, very stark. He recorded in his bedroom, so.
And despite the fact that Born in the USA is kind of like a fist-pumping, rockin' song, the lyrics to it are actually, they're critical.
Bleak.
They're bleak, yeah. So, I mean, they fit with the Nebraska theme. And so that's why it was a big hit when he recorded it, but then when he went on tour, he was kind of getting back to his roots with it.
And my mention of starting an argument is because I'm completely partial to the acoustic demo version.
It just seems kind of a rip, though. He makes, a lot of money on the rocking out version. People go to a concert paying upwards of $100, and it's not there. It's this soft acoustic, which you may like, it may be good, but just if you're going to see Bruce Springsteen do a Bruce Springsteen song, I'd like to see him do the song that he's known for and do it the way he's known for doing it.
Which actually brings up another discussion we can get into either another time or later about what as a ticket holder to a concert, what do you deserve when you walk through those doors? And I think that would be an interesting discussion we can have. But on the Bruce Springsteen note, and first of all, Radio Nowhere, the name of our show, comes from a Bruce Springsteen song. So,
yes.
Full disclosure, there's a Springsteen influence here. And so they talk about the fact that in this article, and this actually the person who wrote this article is defending Bruce Springsteen as a Bruce Springsteen fan and thinks that Bruce Springsteen is getting lost in the shuffle, so to speak. So I was just wanting everyone's opinions on that. And hopefully to try to remedy that in case any millennials happen to be listening at this hour. I brought in Greetings from Asbury Park, Springsteen's First album from '73, and track I've got on here is Spirit in the Night. And we're going to play that one now on Radio Nowhere here on WJBD. Chad, who was that?
That was Louis Armstrong doing You Rascal You.
And people might know that song if they are not, like me, if they are not the biggest Louis Armstrong fan. I mean, not that I don't like him, I just don't know a lot of his stuff. They would know that song from.
Possibly the Grumpier Old Men sequel.
Okay. So.
Millennials probably not going to pick up on that one
You're hooked on this millennial thing, aren't you?
Just a bit.
And Funky was saying when we were actually played the song, we compared Bruce Springsteen to Glenn Miller. We should have said it's the same.
We probably should have compared it to Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong. So, because growing up, I wouldn't have known who Louis Armstrong was either.
I would have thought he was maybe the guy from Throw Mama from the Train, but that's about it. He figures into that. The mama from the train imagines Louis Armstrong's trying to kill her.
You may have just made the most obscure reference
ever.
You've got Netflix. Check it out. It's worth watching.
And, okay, so here's the way we try to roll here on Radio Nowhere. We come up, we do the show. We try not to get on the internet. You know, we try to do it old school. And also, if you're here at the radio station, you have to be on the show. Now, we got up here tonight. It was midnight when we got here, got things ready, and Bruce Kropp was here. And we told him if he was still going to be here at midnight, he had to be on the show. He's still here, so guess what? He's on the show. Bruce, you are on the air right now. He thought he was safe in his newsroom, but he's not. Bruce, welcome to Radio Nowhere.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Bruce. Are you enjoying the show so far?
Yes, I am.
Good. Awesome. Are you learning a lot about Bruce Springsteen?
I'm learning about millenniums.
Oh, it's millennials, actually.
Millennials.
And you're learning Chad does not like them.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good.
And I want to make sure people don't confuse when you're just talking about Bruce being old, you're not talking about me.
No, just you. Well, we have decided, since Bruce is here and he's on Radio Nowhere with us, that he has to pick a song, and we're calling it Uncle Brucie's Pick of the Week. Show him which one so he knows which one to introduce. So
I know which song.
Well, you gave us two, and that's the one we found for you.
I'm trying to figure out which song it is.
It's the
orange one?
Oh, my gosh. See, this is what happens when you get old, millennials. Your eyes go and...
Okay. All right.
In all fairness,
in my defense, he showed me a piece of paper with like 4 or 5 songs on it. So
yeah, but which one of those did you pick earlier?
With tiny font pressed up against the window several feet away.
Okay.
Okay, this is a song that was at least a regional hit and still shows up every once in a while, but it never got the attention I think it should have gotten, and it's simply because I don't think the group ever was as big as a lot of the groups that had #1 songs. And I'm speaking of the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, and this is probably their most pop song they ever did, because most of the other stuff is much more of a rock nature. But this is probably their only big pop hit, and it's called Jackie Blue.
On Radio Nowhere here on WJBD. We need like a little liner for that or something.
We do.
And we need to get Bruce to do it.
That would be awesome.
All right, Bruce, real quick. Say, Uncle Brucie's Pick of the Week. Do it real quick, and everybody else be quiet, and then we'll take the MP3 of this later and make our own thing out of it. Okay, Bruce, go. Okay, here we go. 3, and do it real loud. Get on the mic and do it real loud. 3, 2, 1.
Real loud like this?
Not that loud. You're really hot on that one. All right, do it now. 3, 2, 1.
Uncle Brucie's Pick of the Week. I should know better than to stay up here this late at night. Actually, I came back to put together the Patoka Parade story. And then we had storms, and then we had 2 fires, and then we had storm damage. And I have now got almost everything done except for the Patoka Parade story.
And what's keeping you from getting that done?
Well, at least you had time to pick out a song for us.
Yeah.
Except for being on the show here.
Well, you don't always get to be on the show. So, okay, do you want to tell us anything about the weather? We're getting ready to take a break for Weather Eye Forecast. Bruce, is there anything we should know about this right now?
Well, let me see. Let me get a quick check of the weather radar. Everything was moving to the southeast, and nothing else was building behind it, and that still looks like the case. In fact, almost all the weather now is out of the state of Illinois. Heavy storms moving across the Indiana border near Evansville down into the northern part of Kentucky, and we still do have that heat advisory that is in effect for tomorrow up until 7 o'clock, as we're expected to have temperatures once again in the high 90s, heat index up to about 110. So another day, have to be careful. But the good news is Labor Day Monday, once some more storms move through tomorrow night, high on Monday only expected to be 85 degrees. And then the temperatures stay in the low 80s all the way through Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, we start popping up into the high 80s again. But one more day of the extreme hot weather and potential for some more storms tomorrow night. And then it looks like we're back to milder temperatures.
Grilling weather for Monday, right?
Yes,
grilling
weather for Monday.
Grilling weather. All right. Thank you very much, Bruce Kropp, with Uncle Brucie's Pick of the Week and the Weather Eye forecast. Every week after Weather Eye, what do we do, Funky?
We do our Crowded House Pick of the Week, and we'll be doing that right after the weather.
Well, that was the weather.
Oh, that was the weather.
That was
I'm
weather.
sorry. Well, how about we do it now then?
Let's do it. What's our pick?
Our pick this week is also off of the Afterglow collection. I picked something off there a couple weeks ago. That's the B-sides and kind of miscellaneous collection that we used a couple weeks ago. The pick this week is a song called Private Universe, which is off of the Together Alone album, but this is an alternate take. It's more of an acoustic minimal version. So, Crowded House, Private Universe, the Afterglow version on Radio Nowhere, WJBD.
Radio Nowhere on WJBD. That was Level 42 with Something About You.
And I know you like that song, Steve.
I do. I love that song.
Oh, I do. No. I do too. Do you know where they get their name from?
I do not.
The movie Brazil.
Okay.
They do. The Terry Gilliam movie Brazil. It's either the floor that the main character lives on or the floor above.
I've never seen that movie.
Okay. Just a little bit of trivia for you.
Doesn't 42 tie in something about the meaning of life as well?
Well, that's actually from the book Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
There we go.
The meaning of life in those books is 42. And the question, that's the answer to life, the universe, and everything is 42. But then the problem is they never have the question. So they don't know why the answer is 42.
Interesting.
And then while we're talking about it, that TV show Lost from a few years ago.
Yes.
The big hit. And we all watched that, I think, to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
42 was also one of their secret numbers. Remember they had the numbers. It was 4.
Right.
Can you name them? 4?
4, 16.
Nope, you missed one.
I don't know.
11?
Nope.
14.
Nope.
Help me out here.
We're just going to go through the 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. What?
I was going to say, and Uncle Brucie has left the building.
Yes, Uncle Brucie has had enough of us, but I'm sure we'll hear him back on here because we recorded him. And I think that's about all we have to announce.
I have a little tidbit of information for us.
Oh, producer Steve, take it away.
Researchers have done a study on whether dogs were smart enough to drive a car.
Really?
And the results might surprise you. I'll reveal that in our next break, the information.
Okay. Well, we're getting ready to play a song, and Steve, this is one of your picks. Tell us about it.
This is Bobby Brown on Our Own, and is from the movie Ghostbusters 2, which he appeared in.
That was Here Come the Mummies on Radio Nowhere, WJBD.
Tell us about Here Come the Mummies.
They are a band made up, dressed as mummies to conceal their identity. They're award-winning musicians that dress as mummies to conceal their identities, and they're kind of a brass funk band. They are great live, one of the best live shows
They
right
are
now.
a blast in concert. Seriously, they are.
I'm just glad they can walk down the street unaccosted since their identities are safe and secret.
Wow.
I've seen them once, but you've seen them several times, haven't you, Chad?
Yeah, and each time They just keep getting better.
And they are literally dressed as mummies.
Head to toe, covered in traditional mummy garb, and
Traditional mummy garb. So they're not like
mummies can be stylish.
They're not non-traditional mummies, then, right?
Mummies have different looks, but anyway, after the show, you can go meet them dressed in the traditional gear, and they don't talk; they growl. They stay in character throughout the entire time. Yes.
Do they sign autographs?
Yes. And they have names like Ramses and Pharaoh, whatnot. Traditional English name.
English names?
Yep, English names. Yep. There's also, I think,
it was awesome because as soon as that left your mouth, the look on your face was like, "Well, I know, I messed that one up."
Yep, I think Churchill's their drummer. So English names, bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that's.
It's Sunday morning. Leave it alone.
And real quick, for anyone interested, they usually come to St. Louis, but we should also say that they are a very adult-oriented show. A lot of their songs.
Mature themes.
Mature themes, yes. So let's say that for anyone interested. Funky likes his music without costumes.
No, just different costumes.
No concealment there.
Oh, what did we play before that? Bobby Brown.
Yes.
From
Ghostbusters 2.
And
probably the best aspect of Ghostbusters 2. Didn't we kind of have this conversation about Caddyshack 2 last week?
Yeah.
So we need an entire show of songs from movies that were better than the movies they were actually from. So let's see. What have we done this week? We've done a lot. We talked about Bruce Springsteen. We talked with Bruce Kropp, both around these parts known as the boss. What else did we talk about?
Well, Steve, you had results of the study about, what was it about?
Yeah, that was there was some real interesting study they were doing, and it was about dogs.
Yeah, I may have a new way to avoid driving even more.
Yeah, if dogs are smart, you said you were going to bring us the results. If dogs are smart enough to drive cars.
Yeah, they're not.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, that's okay. So,
thanks for that.
Yeah, ended the show on a downer there,
yeah,
Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Sorry, I said you might be surprised.
But okay, I'm just disappointed. Well, that's gonna wrap it up. So this is Matt Donahoe,
Chad Spray,
and Steve Stein,
and Matt Leibarger.
You cutting funky out of that. You're like, and Steve Stein and no one else.
That's right.
And if you like what you heard,
tell a friend.
And if you don't like what you heard,
don't tell anybody.
Ever. WJBD Salem, Centralia.
ABC News Now, I'm Dave Schreiber.